Hi folks, just want to take this few minutes here to welcome you to ART142 digital photography. And I just got done working with a group of students this summer, and we tried to compact and condense this class into 4 weeks, which was pretty difficult. So I am very excited about having 16 weeks to cover the material and to give you guys a chance to really grow in your photo skills and your knowledge about photography. I'm looking forward to finding out a little bit about each one of you. That'll be early, probably next week. And in the meantime, my name is Richard Gross. I was in the New York City area as a child and got taken to a lot of art museums, and somehow or another art got in my blood. When I moved to Tucson, it was about high school, and I got interested in graphic arts and photography. And then at the U of A, I tried about 5 different majors and eventually ended up being happiest in art education. So after graduating, doing a couple of years in the Army, I got hired into Glendale Union High School District, and I taught at Thunderbird High School for about 20 years. And I retired for the first time. If you ask my wife how many times I've retired, she'll say, I don't know, and you're not getting any more retirement parties. So I just love to teach, and it's fulfilling for me, keeps me going, and I love sharing what I know about art with students as well. As far as the practice of photography, I had a wedding photo business for about 20 years. It was not jam-packed with appointments. I was full-time teaching during the day. Taught all different kinds of art classes, drawing and painting and crafts and ceramics, and so about once a month I would do a wedding on the weekend. They're very high stress, but it is one way to make money. And I also got hired into a portrait studio, which had a mini lab attached to it. Back in the old days when they had film, people brought their film in, and I ran a daylight enlarger machine part-time, and then shot lots and lots of senior portraits, and kind of got to experience the joys of taking pictures of families with all ages, from 2 or 3 years old all the way up to grandpa and grandma. And that was always a challenge. That was a big one. You have so many opportunities for somebody to mess it up, and you didn't have Photoshop to fix it in those days. So since then I've just been doing art shows around, and not selling in a gallery, but kind of selling to people independently. My biggest photography pastime has to do with Flickr, and if you look on the wall behind me, I have pictures there from Flickr Friends. Flickr is a social media site where we share photos and converse with each other. And at the start of the pandemic, I offered everybody anybody who wanted it, a free 5x7 photo of mine, and then they sent me their pictures. So I'm in the process of putting together a global art show. There's pictures there from the other side of the world, as well as right nearby. So Flickr is an outlet for me to have an artistic community and share. My other artistic community is going to be you guys. You're going to be doing a lot of photography. The class is going to generate 3 different streams of photos. So one of them is going to have to do with the pocket camera that you have with you almost all the time. If you don't have a pocket camera, if you don't have a phone, you got to write me, tell me. But so far, everybody has had phone cameras. About 10 years ago, my fellow photo teachers would say, "What's the matter with you, Mr. Gross? Your head isn't working right." But in the past few years, phones, cameras have gotten to be very, very good. They excel in certain areas, and of course they have limitations that you have to respect, but so does every other camera have that. We are going to be shooting a lot of pictures of things that we stumble across in our daily life. So I call that part of it learning to see like a photographer. You're going to respond to your personal environment, and you're going to be taking lots of pictures with your phone. We have a saying, to take a great picture, take lots of pictures. So many of your pictures are not going to be art show quality, and nobody expects that. But every once in a while you're going to stumble on a really nice shot. And you'll have enough pixels to make it display well on a screen and maybe even print well as well. Now, the DSLR, and I've been hearing from some of you, this is the camera that I shoot with. I have about 2 or 3 different Canon cameras because I can share the lenses between the different bodies. The other 2 streams of photos, so we have the camera phone photos, that's the everyday life kind of thing. And then the other 2 streams, one of them is going to be about assignments that I give you, which surveys things like architectural photography, portrait photography, some of the different things that all photographers need to know about. And then the other stream of photos is going to be, and these are DSLR photos, they're going to be an area of interest to you. So it's going to be like a self-assignment, and maybe you're in love with automobiles. So I'll ask you to declare a concentration early in the semester. And so maybe you say, okay, I'm going to take pictures of cars, trucks, and then you'll take some pictures, first shoot, and that'll be your baseline. And then you'll start doing some research, some independent research about how to take better pictures of cars. And you'll get some tips, and then the second time you shoot, maybe not exact same cars, but different cars, but the second time you shoot, you're going to try some of those tips that you read about on the internet or in a book someplace. And gradually, we're going to keep having you come back to that. You'll probably do 4 what we call concentration assignments. And so by the time you're done with your 4th set, you should see quite an improvement in what you're doing. We'll talk about concentrations during the first week. Some people do nature. Some people are definitely trying to up their people skills because they're interested in doing portrait and wedding photography. I have had people doing abstract photography, animal photography. So it depends on who you are and where your heart is. I want you to choose something that's in your heart, but something that you can do over and over. So, I mean, travel photography, sign me up. I love to do travel photography, but I don't have the budget. I can't fly to London 1 week and 2 weeks later fly to De Janeiro, wherever. So we have some parameters, we have some limits that we're going to do. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3 different streams of photography during this 16 weeks. And definitely you're going to be taking a lot of pictures. Photo theory and techniques, we're going to look at our textbook, and I have specified that in the syllabus, that we need that textbook. And you're also going to need to have a camera guide. This is not a camera manual that is supplied by the manufacturer. This is a nice thick book, and it's filled with detailed illustrations. Not about general cameras, not like our textbook. This will be specifically about a certain camera. So it's like your camera manual that you got in the box on steroids. This is filled with really good information, and it is written in a way that regular human beings, you don't have to be an engineer to read it, like the manual that came with your camera. So I want you to have those resources to draw on. I've put up some announcements where you can look for your camera manuals and where you can look for your textbook. We're going to be using the Canvas platform, and you're going to be using a Flickr account. Flickr accounts are free. You may have to put up with a few ads, but oh well. And the Flickr account is where you're going to be turning in your pictures for me to look at, for me to make critiques and constructive criticism, and also for your classmates. They will also be able to see your photographs and leave their likes and do some what ifs, well, what would happen if the lighting was coming from the other angle, or what would happen if, so these are just things to think about and maybe try and see if it makes your photos better. So Canvas, I am going to be converting it from the class that I taught this summer. So I will be working at reshuffling some of the assignments, adding some assignments to it. And some of you have had experience with Canvas before, but this time I want you to be very conscious of 2 areas. One of them is the announcements. So make sure that you are checking Canvas at least once a day, or make sure that you are monitoring your school email, or forward your school email to your regular email account, because my announcements will come through maricopa.edu. They'll come through to your student accounts. And that's one area that I want you to watch for, because there will be assignments, or there will be changes, or the things that have to be adjusted. The second area that I want you to look at is the calendar. So when you log into Canvas, way over on the left side at the bottom, there will be a calendar. And I want you to click on that calendar, and I want you to look for ART142 assignments. So don't look in the assignments module, or don't look in the module. Look in the calendar and see what it says is an upcoming assignment that's due on, let's say we're talking next week. I put something up on September 1st, and I say it's due on the 15th. So you go to your calendar and you look and you see, baseline photos are due on September 15th. You need to immediately click on that box, that assignment in the calendar, and then you need to read all the details about the assignment. And then you need to get your personal study calendar, your time management system, and you have to think to yourself, okay, Mr. Gross is asking for 75 pictures. And then you start looking at your personal schedule and you say, I think I can fit some in here, I can take some time off over here, and you pencil those into your personal calendar so that when it comes to the 15th, you're not rushing at the last minute to try and do something that art, very seldom does art just happen immediately. Ansel Adams says, we make pictures, we don't take pictures. So there's a process that you're going to be learning about, and creative problem solving, and exploring the subject and waiting for the right time for the light to be in the right place. You don't rush these things. So I guess what I'm trying to say is watch for your announcements and then go to the Canvas calendar and look for the ART142 assignments. Click on those. They will open up, and then go to your personal planner and put some things in there. The syllabus has my email address on it, my school email, and I'm going to ask you guys to use your school email to interface with my school email. IT department does not like you using your personal Googles and things like that. They're worried about viruses and hacking and stuff like that. So please, when you're emailing, make it come from your student account. This summer I also got a Google Voice, so it's kind of another way that you can, I'd prefer that you text me with your questions. If you get really stuck, you can try and give me a call. And I would like you to observe office hours, meaning most people, in certain kinds of life, they work from 9 until 5. So text me during those time periods, or call me during those time periods if you get stuck, and I'll get back to you. I'll read off the phone number. I think it's on the syllabus. 252, it's a 623 prefix. 252-5117. So you can use that to text me and